Okay, this one is called "What Are Your Kids Learning in School?" They're all learning to be trans, I bet. That's what they're going to say. They're all learning to be trans. They're all learning to be gay. They're all learning to be Marxists. That's what they're going to say. If you like this content, click the join button beneath the video. And for as little as 99 cents per month, you can help support the channel. And you will get access to some emojis in live streams. And you'll get a nice, cute little gesture hat next to your name. You can also support me on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Help support the channel and get access to exclusive content. Hit the subscribe button below if you're not already subscribed, and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when I go live. All right, this next video here is called, what is it called? I'm going to actually fix it here. It is called What Your Kids Are Learning in School by PragerU. Again, PragerU being used in classrooms all over the place now and being pushed by the Trump administration to replace the PBS, okay? So I'm a teacher, folks. For the folks watching on YouTube, I'm a teacher, so I suspect I will have a lot to say about this. Let's take a look. Let's watch. Okay, guys, let's go here.
What's happening in our schools? Colleges have become leftist indoctrination centers. It's not a new problem.
Okay, off to the bat, we have a problem, okay? Leftist indoctrination centers. I can promise you folks that a lot of colleges, especially business departments, are not leftist, okay? They're absolutely not. And by the way, there is, and I'm not trying to sound, this sounds condescending. This is not what I mean. And I hope those of you who know me know this. There is a link between a lot of education and being more left-leaning. So it might have to do with people being more educated, understanding things like that. But it's just not true. There are, on college campuses, there are very conservative professors, there are very liberal professors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, guys, let's go.
Problem. It's been going on for decades, first behind the scenes and now out front. That's how radical change happens. It creeps up on us. And when we finally figure out what's going on, it's too late. What's been happening on college campuses is now happening in elementary schools and high schools. I know. I'm a mom of two school-aged kids.
What's happening?
I've seen it with my own eyes. More and more parents are
that's kind of scary. Her eyes are kind of creepy.
seeing it too. Thanks to the lockdowns and Zoom, we're getting a window into our children's class.
Yeah, all the problems with the education system go back to COVID. Yeah, no, they don't. Admittedly, they did cause a lot of issues. They were issues that were necessary, though, to save people from death, by the way. But regardless, this is crazy that she's trying to say it all. That just goes back to that. No, it doesn't.
Classes. It's not a pretty picture. Kids, really young kids, are being taught stuff so radical, so devoid of what real education is, it should alarm us all. Here are a few examples.
God, I wish I could teach. I wish I could have been teaching my student things that are considered more radical, like, oh, maybe the people should actually control the United States and not let corporations and the wealthy do it. Alas, I couldn't do that. I don't know any teacher that does. What does she mean by this?
Examples. Recently, Chicago Public Schools adopted an American history curriculum based on the 1619 Project published and promoted by the New York Times.
They love going after the 1619 Project, which is about the introduction of slaves into the New World. Admittedly, folks, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying this because I don't like the 1619 Project. There are some actual historical issues with it. Some of their sources and stuff are kind of flawed. It's not the best historical historical analysis, but it is true that that slavery was a big thing in the United States.
1619 Project asserts that America's founding was not marked by the Declaration of Independence in 1776, but the arrival of the first African slaves in Jamestown in 1619. Historians from
see, and God, I hate that I'm doing this. I hate that I'm defending that comment she's making. Okay, that it does say that in Project 1619 that America was founded when the first enslaved people got here. But that's again, the people that were at that time, they identified as English. They did not identify as Americans. I'm splitting hairs here. I feel bad because I don't want to make it appear. I don't want to, make anyone think that she has a relevant reason for hating this stuff. She doesn't. But there are some historical issues with Project 1619. 1619.
Across the political spectrum have denounced this as a giant lie. The New York Times has walked back many of the project's
Yeah.
original claims. Still, this malicious slander of America is now being taught in schools as truth.
I've never seen it taught in a school. Never seen it taught in a school. Not once. I've taught at multiple schools. Maybe it's happening out there somewhere. Never seen it happen.
And what is that truth? That America is, was, and always has been a fundamentally racist country, and that white Americans today bear responsibility.
Well, okay. I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer here, but yeah, race was a very big component of early America, of America throughout history. There was a massive racial component to it. The most profitable industry was slavery, which was explicitly racial, not to mention the enslavement of Native peoples, the genocide of Native peoples. Okay.
Responsibility for all current and historic racism.
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I need to go back a little bit here. Did she say that?
All current and historic racism.
Who bears responsibility
A
for it? Let me see.
fundamentally racist country, and that white Americans today bear responsibility for all current.
No one. I have no. No, okay. And maybe there are people out there who don't really know what they're talking about. No, of course, modern day white Americans do not bear all responsibility for all current and historic racism, okay? I have yet to meet a white person who is a slave owner. This is a straw man here, okay? I don't know anyone who is saying that all modern day white Americans are responsible for the crimes of people in the past. Yes, white Americans are oftentimes perpetuate and reproduce racist systems in the United States even today, but she is straw manning, okay?
Current and historic racism. This bleeds perfectly into another educational debacle: diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, this might sound innocent, but don't be fooled. It's a dangerous
really?
euphemism for something called critical race theory.
No one, by the way, no teacher at a high school or elementary level is teaching critical race theory. Critical race theory is a graduate level theory, way of analyzing the laws of and of the legal history to uncover how structural racism is created through legal systems. This sound like something you could be teaching to a grade schooler or even a high schooler? Critical race theory is not something being taught in schools. What this is a dog whistle for is teaching about slavery, teaching about segregation and things like that. So yeah, I can't stand it. And by the way, some of the curriculums that were passed in red states that were claiming to be a fight against critical race theory, if you go in and actually read that legislation, it is not critical race theory. It'll say things like discussing slavery, discussing segregation, or it'll say you have to give both sides of everything, including the Ku Klux Klan. How do you do that in a classroom? How do you stand in front of a class and go, the Ku Klux Klan was bad, but on the other hand, I mean, okay.
Critical race theory says that racism is woven into the very fabric of American society. What does this look like in a school setting? Middle and high school students in Wellesley, Massachusetts, are being taught to be on the lookout for unconscious racial bias in their classmates. We need your help, an email to students reads.
Admittedly, folks, Massachusetts schools are some of the most diverse schools in the country. Boston itself is a majority-minority city, and I've lived there. I taught there. I know this for a fact, and yeah, I do think it's important for students to be aware of their unconscious racial biases because they are surrounded by people from all over the world. I don't see an issue with that. I don't know if this is true. I don't really trust what she says, but even if it is, that sounds great to me. Yes, please teach students young, to be aware of some biases they may have so they're not racist towards their classmates and people in the wider world, which, by the way, once you leave school, that's not going to do you very well in the real world.
School leaders will be working with you this year on how to be proactive about preventing bias incidents and how to report them should they occur. This warped vision of America doesn't stop at race.
Oh, so that's a warped vision of America, to report acts of racism inside of a school for children. That's a warped vision of America. How dare you report when your fellow classmate is discriminating against you for your skin color? How dare you? Is this what? Okay.
In Colorado, first graders are being taught that just because someone looks like a boy doesn't mean they are.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is that a problem? And that's factually true. That is factually true. There are men, by the way, boys who are sexed as men at birth, and as they get older, they may not look like you would expect a boy to look, as in they don't meet that stereotype. And then, of course, there are transgender boys, there are non-binary boys. Yeah. What is the issue with that? What is the issue with that?
Only they can know who they truly are. Gender is something they choose for themselves, based on how masculine or feminine they feel. Or maybe they're not fully a
Yeah.
boy or a girl, but something in
What?
between. Whatever that may be.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see well, this is gross. This is very, very gross, very transphobic, very anti-LGBTQ, anti-non-binary. Also, folks, who cares? Why can't people just do what they want to do? Who cares? Like, people can they who cares if someone wants to identify one way or another, right? It's not hurting you. Why can't you respect them as a human being? These people have a weird obsession with this stuff. Like, why are they always going around obsessing about other people's genitalia? Why? What was it? I was watching a video one time doing a reaction to, and this guy was talking about sodomy. Like, he is obsessed with sodomy, one of these Christian nationalist types. It's weird, the obsession these people have about what other people want to do with their bodies, what they want to do with their genitals. Why are you going around just obsessing about that? Let people be what they want to be. Who cares? Who cares? And I feel like we have other problems here. If this was a problem, it's not a problem. But if it was, we have much bigger problems, much bigger issues going on.
To repeat, that's what children are taught in first grade. Imagine what they're taught in second or third grade.
I don't know, arithmetic, grammar.
And, of course, the world faces imminent disaster from global warming.
Yeah, but we have to be obsessing about people's genitalia and what they identify as gender-wise.
The American Federation of Teachers has fully endorsed the most radical aspects of the Green New Deal, which is already featured in California school curriculums. In many of our
Good. You know why? Because those children are going to have a terrible future unless we do something about climate change. It is good to let them know what their parents and what our modern day society is doing to their futures. Totally support that. Let them know.
schools are teaching children that our past is terrible and that they have no future. That if they are white, they are racist whether they know it or not. If they're black, they're victims, whether they experience it or not. That they should constantly question their sexual identity. With all this being
Okay. While you are going through puberty and you are going through adolescence, it is natural to start questioning your identity. Like, this happens to all of us, okay? Whether you're straight, you're gay, you're bisexual, whether you're transgender, whether you're cisgender, whatever it may be, people go as you're developing sexually, as your body is developing, as your brain is developing, people go through a process of trying to sort this stuff out. Why are we demonizing a natural human process of sorting these things out?
drummed into their heads. No wonder today's kids have more psychological problems than any previous generation.
Oh, okay. So now we're conflating having natural, natural development and things like that with psychological problems. This is classic dog whistling. The historic notion that LGBTQ folks, trans folks, gay folks, all those folks have a mental illness is gross and is soundly rejected by every official scientific psychiatric organization in the United States. Okay.
Maybe you think I'm cherry-picking examples to exaggerate my point.
You think I might think you're cherry-picking examples?
Or maybe you're one of the lucky ones who sends your kids to a school that has yet to be infected by this radical agenda. Maybe. But if I were you, I wouldn't take it on faith. Find out for yourself.
Isn't that something that she probably loves to do, is take things on faith, though, like, anyway.
When I did, I was shocked to learn that all of this is happening in my school district.
Yeah, real care and energy
right now.
here. Real care and energy.
So find out what's being taught in your kids' school. Take a good, hard look at curricula. Ask administrators if they endorse the 1619 Project. Are they pushing a diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda? If so, demand to see.
Guys, in a school, especially in America, you have vast diversity in terms of the people that are there. You have kids who come from all over the world. You have kids whose primary language is not English. You in a school, diversity, equity, and inclusion means making sure that you're meeting the needs of all students where they are culturally, where they are in terms of their language. It's how you teach. It is the basics of teaching. You need to cater the education to your students. Okay? Okay.
What materials the school is using. At a minimum, get to know your kids' teachers and principals. Join the PTA, attend local school board meetings, look for allies among.
We all know that this is going to translate into harassment of teachers and harassment of administrators, and I've seen it happen before. It's happened to me before. Okay.
Reasonable, like-minded parents. You don't have to agree with each other on everything. You just have to agree that the brainwashing of our children stops here.
The brainwashing of children on a PragerU video. The brainwashing of children, and she's working for PragerU, which puts out basically pure propaganda for the purpose of brainwashing children. This is complete lack of self-awareness, utter lack of self-awareness.
Stops now. Americans know what our children should be learning, that they must take responsibility for their conduct, that race is the least important aspect of another person, that hard work and rational thought are things we all value, that there is nothing wrong with the bodies they were born into, and that America.
Is anyone saying that? Is anyone saying that the bodies a person was born into is wrong? No, no one is saying that. That is not what anyone is saying. That is not. I know what she's trying to hint there. This is transphobia, but that is not. No one thinks that like the body you're born, because obviously you can't choose the body you're born into. No one thinks it's wrong to be born into a certain body.
America was founded not to promote racism, but to guarantee sacred liberties and opportunities to its citizens. And it wouldn't hurt if they learned reading and writing and math, too. I'm Jill Simone.
Yeah, like or afterthought for her, right? Oh, yeah, they probably should also learn reading and writing and things like that. Yeah, that was an afterthought.
Founder of thefabmom.com for Prager University.
Okay, that was garbage. Okay, thank you. Thank God we're done with those, folks. Thank you for being patient with me while we got through that. Let me